Sister Wives Caught in Lies. Christine's book exposes how they deceived TLC and viewers for years. Christine Brown's shocking memoir has left the Sister Wives fandom reeling, and for good reason. For over a decade, the Brown family has been one of TLC's most successful reality TV experiments. They portrayed themselves as a loving, functional polygamous family determined to prove that their lifestyle was built on faith, harmony, and unity. But Christine's revelations have ripped apart that carefully crafted narrative. According to her, not only were there cracks in the marriage long before the cameras ever rolled, but the Browns also actively hid and distorted truths to keep the show alive. Fans who thought they were watching raw authenticity are now realizing they may have been watching a staged illusion. Christine's book makes it clear, the family's image wasn't just about protecting their children or their privacy. It was also about maintaining a TV deal, controlling how outsiders viewed polygamy, and keeping TLC's storyline polished enough to hook audiences. For the first time, we're learning how much manipulation went on behind the scenes, manipulation that deceived millions of viewers. Let's dive deep into the biggest lies and deceptions that Christine claims the Brown family, and even TLC, were complicit in over the years. The perfect polygamous family myth. When Sister Wives first aired in 2010, it sold itself as a documentary-style series showing the beautiful complexities of plural marriage. Viewers were told they'd get the unfiltered truth about how the Browns lived, loved, and raised their children. But Christine says that from the very beginning, producers and family members agreed to gloss over the darker realities. The Browns were struggling financially, constantly moving to avoid attention, and dealing with simmering jealousy among the wives. Yet, Season 1 painted a picture of unity, warmth, and resilience. Christine claims this was intentional. TLC wanted a positive spin to avoid backlash, and the family agreed to play along. They showcased family dinners, joint traditions, and a sisterhood between the wives that was much more fragile in reality. Behind closed doors, Christine says Cody was already showing favoritism toward Robin, which made her and the other wives feel sidelined. But that storyline was hidden for years, with the show instead focusing on the family's supposed equality. The lie about financial stability. Christine also exposes the myth of financial balance. On TV, the Browns often said they pooled resources and made decisions collectively, giving the impression of a well-managed household. But the book reveals that money was a constant source of tension. Some wives, like Janelle, were more financially savvy, while others felt drained by Cody's risky decisions. For instance, Christine details how certain debts were hidden or minimized on camera to protect the family's image. TLC also selectively edited scenes to make it appear as though the Browns were more stable than they really were. In truth, the family was drowning in expenses from mortgages, medical bills, and constant relocations. Christine suggests that this was one of the reasons Cody pursued the show so aggressively. He needed TLC's paycheck to keep the family afloat. Another major deception Christine points out is the idea of sister-wife unity. TLC marketed the show around the concept that the women were not just co-wives, but also close friends, sharing a unique bond. While there were moments of genuine support, Christine says this image was mostly fabricated. She writes that competition, resentment, and isolation were far more common. Robin's arrival amplified those feelings as she quickly became Cody's favorite. Instead of showing the deep fractures, TLC encouraged the wives to film scenes of bonding activities, like cooking together or celebrating holidays as one big family. Christine admits she often played along with these happy family portrayals because she didn't want to be seen as the bitter or jealous wife. But inside, she felt invisible and neglected. In her book, she confesses that her smiles on camera often masked deep pain. Throughout the series, Cody Brown was portrayed as a strong, spiritual leader guiding his family through hardships. But Christine paints a different picture, one of inconsistency, favoritism, and manipulation. She claims Cody often used religion as a weapon to justify his actions, but he failed to live up to the very principles he preached. On camera, he spoke about fairness, equality, and sacrifice. Off-camera, he was distant from some wives and children, showing clear preference for Robin and her kids. Christine even suggests that some of Cody's dramatic confessions on the show were staged or exaggerated to create compelling television. In other words, Cody wasn't just being himself, he was playing a role, one designed to protect his image and keep the TLC contract intact. The children's reality versus TLC's editing. Perhaps the most heartbreaking revelation from Christine's book is how the children were affected by these lies. Fans saw them as happy, well-adjusted kids navigating an unusual family structure. But Christine says many of them struggled with confusion, resentment, and feelings of neglect. The children often knew about the favoritism and conflicts long before viewers did. They also had to cope with constant filming, which sometimes meant reenacting moments for the cameras. Christine recalls instances where producers would ask kids to redo emotional conversations, making it less authentic and more scripted. Some of the older kids reportedly resented the show, feeling like their privacy had been sacrificed for their parents' fame and financial survival. The Coyote Pass deception. Christine also reveals that the highly publicized purchase of Coyote Pass land was not as straightforward as fans were led to believe. On the show, it was portrayed as a hopeful project, a symbol of the family's dream of unity and long-term planning. But according to Christine, Cody's poor management and lack of consensus among the wives made the land more of a burden than a blessing. TLC continued to spin the storyline as the Browns' big dream, even though behind the scenes, many of the wives doubted it would ever come to fruition. Christine confesses she knew early on that the project was doomed, but she went along with the narrative to keep the illusion alive for 4. Christine's Breaking Point. The book also sheds light on why Christine ultimately decided to leave both Cody and the show's carefully curated lies. She realized that continuing to play along would not only destroy her mental health, but also model unhealthy relationships for her children. Christine says she could no longer stomach pretending everything was fine while she was deeply unhappy. Her exit wasn't just about leaving Cody, it was about breaking free from the facade that had trapped her for years. Since the release of Christine's book, fans have expressed mixed reactions. Some feel vindicated, saying they always suspected the Browns were hiding more than they admitted. Others feel betrayed, realizing that the authentic family they supported for over a decade may have been carefully curated characters. Many are now questioning TLC's role in the deception. Did the network knowingly mislead viewers, or were they simply documenting the narrative the Browns provided? Either way, the trust between show and audience has been severely damaged. Why these lies mattered. Christine's revelations raise an important question. Why go?